You need it sooner? Sooner, yes.
November 17, 2019, the first case of COVID-19 was discovered.
The biggest quarantine
One patient tested positive for coronavirus.
COVID-19 can be characterized as a pandemic.
First death being reported now from Karnataka.
We declared a public health emergency.
Non-essential businesses continue to remain shut. 651 people died on Sunday, bringing the death toll to 5,476, which is more than China's toll. More than 5,500 Italians are tested positive on a daily basis. Nearly 60,000 people across the country are confirmed to have contracted.
Over 270,000 people there have now lost their lives to the coronavirus, a death toll surpassed only by the United States.
All travel outside of Canada to be considered high risk for Canadians.
Limiting flights bound for Canada, closing schools, daycares, even Parliament to try to stop the spread of coronavirus.
It might be 2 weeks' time, it might be 4 months' time, it might be 12 months' time, who knows?
How on earth did it come to this?
Health officials urging the public to practice social distancing to slow down the outbreak. Communities around the country now taking action.
We must treat this like what it is, and that is a crisis that we have not seen, most of us, in our lifetimes.
Ohio shutting down public schools for 3 weeks. Maryland schools closed for 2. Also New Mexico, Michigan, and Oregon schools. California now banning all gatherings of 250 people or more. And New York City's mayor declaring a state of emergency.
But the last 24 hours have been very, very sobering.
Meanwhile, President Trump is defending his decision to ban most Europeans from entering the country for the next 30 days.
The UK is facing a shortage of medical equipment, which could lead to a higher number of COVID-19 related deaths. Britain is short on ventilators that will be needed to treat critically ill patients with the virus.
With health officials here in the U.S. moving fast to prepare for what the CDC has called an inevitable spread.
We are right now in a very active containment mode.
Thousands of Americans nationwide already under voluntary self-quarantine. If you are sick, or if somebody in your family is sick, then this makes a good idea, right? Because you want to avoid spreading the germs. It's less effective if you're simply trying to avoid getting sick by going through an airport or a bus station or whatever else. This may not be that helpful.
New mask orders with the coronavirus spreading faster than ever. Alabama, the latest state to order residents to cover up. Walmart and Kroger to require masks in all stores. In Florida, the grim new milestone.
Every single American should be wearing a mask when they're outside for the next 3 months at a minimum.
March 19th, 2020. The day everyone was excited for and terrified for at the exact same time. The official start of the stay-at-home order in the United States of America. A nationwide emergency. On Wednesday, March 18th, 2020, there were 214,000 cases and 8,787 deaths reported worldwide. This national state of emergency sent countries into official lockdown for a total of 2 weeks to help slow the spread of the virus.
Closing schools, daycares, even Parliament to try to stop the spread of coronavirus.
2 weeks turned into a month, then 2, then unknown. By July 2020, most states had mask mandates put into place, and people started to learn to work from home. Businesses were being shut down due to lack of consumers, and schools had to finish the year online. With no sight for what the future held, cities became empty. One city in particular that had the biggest loss was New York City. Without tourists visiting the city, Broadway itself had become temporarily shut down. Thousands of people out of jobs in the arts community led to actors and directors, technical crew and filmmakers stuck inside for months without hope for the work in the near future. This not only affected New York City, but millions of theater groups. They were forced to cancel shows upon shows. This left everyone wondering when things would go back to normal and theater would open back up again. My story was affected as well. I was in a show called No Exit at Thomas More University. I, a freshman at the time, had beaten out some of the older people in the department to get the role. I'd worked the hardest I had on a project in a while, because I was so dedicated to this role. When we got the news of the possibility of having to shut down, everyone in the production was unsure of the future for the show. I felt like I had finally made it. After years and years of working towards an end goal, this felt like my end goal. I remember receiving a text from our small group chat. It said something along the lines of, "Do we cancel the show or push it back 2 weeks?" As much as I wanted to push it back, something was telling me that this inconvenience was not going away. After the show was officially canceled, I fell into this hole of not knowing where to go. I lived my life always needing to emit creativity, and being stuck inside did nothing to help. I'm not the only one this happened to. Many of the people in my life also had similar stories to mine.
Okay, well, my name is Paige Landers. I am 18 years old, and I'm a theater student at Thomas More University, and I'm part of the Villa Players.
Hi, I'm Riley Somerville. I'm a sophomore at St. Ursula Academy. I participate in Theater Xavier at St. Xavier High School and Scholastic Music.
My name is Ella Chandler. I am 16 years old. I go to Anderson High School. I'm a junior, and I'm in Anderson Theater.
Hello, my name is Emilie Maggard. I'm 17 and I go to Anderson High School and I do film for Anderson Theater.
Hi, my name is Reagan. I'm 16 years old and a sophomore at Anderson High School, and I'm a part of the Anderson Theater Department.
I was in the middle of a production at St. Xavier High School for Fiddler on the Roof, and I was choreographing for Schoolhouse of Music's production of Peter Pan Jr.
We were starting our production of Man of La Mancha, having rehearsals.
I was currently in third period when we all got the call that we weren't going to come back for 2 weeks. And at first it was really exciting, but then it was kind of disheartening because all the things I was involved in, I didn't really know like how that was going to go or if we were even going to get to do it.
I was actually a rower. I was on a rowing team. So we had to practice from home. We had to take home these rowing machines and practice from our house. I ended up not doing it, and I developed like massive anxiety from doing it, so it was not fun.
I was in Man of La Mancha, and I hadn't really done anything for the show yet, and so I didn't really know what was going to happen.
Both shows were shut down in late April, and we hoped to open them in summer, but the high school production, we were unable to open them, and then we put on Peter Pan Jr. in July of 2020.
So I was involved in a couple things. I was first involved in our school musical at my high school. We were doing Chicago, and that got totally shut down. And we were for a little bit trying to see if we would be able to come back and rehearse and do it. But then since everything just got so bad with the COVID numbers increasing, we ultimately just canceled the show altogether. I do dance at my studio, and we had a recital coming up, and we had a bunch of competitions we were going to perform at, and so that also got totally shut down.
So the show was shut down, but we decided to do the production online. We had green screens, and we videoed ourselves in front of the green screens, and we got audio and video recordings, and we sent it to editors, and they edited all of us together.
Well, technically my first show I was 5 years old, and then I did another show when I was 13 at Nagel, and then I stopped and I went back to rowing, and then I started again in November with Macbeth.
Anderson Theater was doing Man of La Mancha. I thought it was going to get shut down completely, but they decided to make it online. We did green screens, and everyone had their costumes at home, everyone used their own props, everyone filmed themselves, everyone did sound themselves, and then there were a group of editors who put it all together. Yes, I was in Anderson Theater's production of Man of La Mancha. So I was in film camp over the summer. We could not film inside because some people weren't comfortable with being that close to everyone, and
just that. So we filmed all of our scenes outside, and the directors had to change their scripts and scenes to make it fit outside. And so all of the crew wore masks, and the actors took off their masks when they were filming. And I was in Macbeth, and now we're doing Addams Family.
Yes, I was. So at Thomas More, we did a show called Julius Caesar, and how we did it was we were on an outdoor theater, and then we wore masks the whole time, but then we ultimately decided to film it. It ultimately was a really cool experience because I do like film and I haven't really gotten the chance to do film.
My fall play at St. Xavier was War of the Worlds, and we recorded it like a movie.
I was on hair and makeup crew at first, and our work days for the first couple months were virtual. And then we showed up, and during the shows we weren't allowed to touch people's faces, we weren't allowed to do their makeup. We could only touch their arms and their hair. And then we got sent home during the shows, so we couldn't even see the shows.
I'm on the side of film. We've had film before COVID, but we've utilized it a lot more now since theater's pretty hard to produce right now. And for our film class, we usually we'll make projects, and it's been pretty hard to continue making projects in the world of COVID. It's hard to know what's going on. I've had a lot of trouble shifting from regular film to COVID film, so it's been an experience.
I'm a person that thrives off being busy, barely ever home because I like to be busy and just have stuff to do. And COVID kind of ruined that because I was stuck at home doing nothing but school and sleeping.
So COVID affected me really badly because I'm a very social person and I have to be doing something. And just that constant being in my room 24 hours a day just really was hard on me in general. It was very isolating.
It made my mental health plummet. So I'm a very extroverted person, and I'm a very busybody. I would be gone. I would be at school, I'd be at practice, I'd be volunteering. And then when everything just kind of stops, you don't know what to do with your life. And it kind of makes you realize how it's more important to be happy and stress-free than anything else. So that's kind of another reason why I dropped rowing for theater, because it makes me happier.
I would say it's been a lot of ups and downs for sure, because when everything was getting canceled when I was a senior, that was very hard for me, because that's kind of what you look forward to as a senior and graduating just school altogether. And so when that first happened, I was very depressed and just kind of very unmotivated. But then as the summer came and I was getting ready to go to college, I started to become a lot happier. I kind of developed my own routine, COVID routine. And that was all good, and then kind of when it started to get cold again and the cases started to spike, and it was kind of a second wave of, I guess, depression and unmotivation, and now we're kind of slowly coming out of that. But I think COVID really kind of, it made me not take things for granted, because it really showed how quickly you can just lose everything.
So COVID affected my mental health pretty terribly. With COVID starting, I couldn't go to therapy anymore because they had to shut everything down. And then after that, I never got a new therapy scheduled for online. And I know it's affecting a lot of people too right now, so it's weird to be I know everyone else knows what I'm going through, but I feel like I'm alone, you know? I think film has been a really easy way for me to, at home, creatively put out my emotions in a safe, healthy way. So I have a YouTube channel. The name is Emilie Maggard. I've just put out a music video for one of my friends whose band has been affected by COVID too.
I think it'll make us use technology more to our advantage. And make us realize what we can do. Even when there are hardships and things are going wrong, we can adapt and overcome it.
I really think that theaters will start to be, the productions will be filmed a lot more, especially I think Broadway productions will, because I think that's kind of an outlet that's more accessible to everyone. I also think that the sets will be minimized due to like all the money that has been lost with all of the COVID stuff going on.
I think we've really grown from our experiences. Like, if people can't come see the show, we can video the show, put it up on YouTube. There's many ways to cut corners. It was a learning experience and it helped in a positive way.
I think it will affect it in a positive way because we have opportunities to get more people involved.
I think I will. I'm just trying to get through it while socially distancing is still here, so once it's relaxing, I'll be a lot more excited to be part of it.
I will continue to do theater. Theater has been a big part of my life since I was like 5, so I can't see myself doing anything else.
Yes, I definitely will. I think after social distancing is relaxed, it will become a lot more fun to do theater, and I think it'll be nice not to have to wear a mask, because then you can actually see people's emotions and really connect with people more, and I think that's the best part about theater, which I think is kind of what's missing right now.
Of course. I love theater so much, and now I can't like imagine without it in my life.
I will continue to do theater as long as I can. I think when social distancing is more relaxed, it will be more fun and exciting to do shows.
I would like to go to college and try to pursue a career in that.
I think for me, I would definitely want to start doing like online theater classes, whether that's like teaching them or being a part of one. And I think I will choose films over actual performing for the most part, just because that's obviously going to be a safer option, and I think it's something different than I've experienced from just doing like stage productions. And then I think it's just also what's going to start becoming more common in the theater world.
I do not. I don't have the skill set for that. I think really hard work and making sure you get things done on time and just really working together to create something amazing.
I think I'll definitely use technology more to my advantage. You know, they post our choreography online, so I could practice it at home instead of not knowing what I'm doing and learning it in person. I think it'll help me extra since I'm not a dancer.
Yes, I plan on going to college for film. I wanted to major in it. Now I know that anytime I produce something and I think it's a struggle, I'll just think back to COVID and be like, hey, at least it's not a worldwide pandemic. I think I will try to implement new ways of film and theater. I think the theater program at Anderson will try to use live streaming more.
No one knows what the future holds, especially in a worldwide pandemic. Luckily, with cases slowly descending and new scientific discoveries of vaccinations, we are on the road of success.
First, tonight, I'm announcing that I will direct all states, tribes, and territories to make all adults, people 18 and over, eligible to be vaccinated no later than May 1.
With theater, there is no future unless we see change. There may not be any more in-person shows with a full live audience until everyone becomes responsible and sees their place in society to help slow the spread of the virus completely. I've luckily been able to do a few shows since the pandemic, but it has not been the same. I'm hoping that people get the vaccine and continue to social distance and wear masks and wash hands and do everything needed to see the end. The show must go on.